Hey everyone, quick demo time. I've been getting a lot of questions about how this Claude plugin actually works. So I'm going to show it in a real repo end to end. We'll be using an open source iOS app called Scrumdinger by James Sedlacek, and I will run this plugin live and see what it generates and how that fits into a normal dev workflow and what kind of time it would save. So let's just jump right in. I already did all the work because I didn't want this video being too long, but I asked Claude to add Sentry to this repo, and it went through the process of adding it immediately used the plugin, went into instrumentation planning mode. It added Sentry. So here we add Sentry to the dependencies, which is great. And it immediately just started instrumenting the audio service, I believe. Yeah, immediately went and instrumented audio service. I'm going to skip over that and just jump to down here. I asked Claude to, let's see. Okay, so I asked Claude to identify all the jobs to be done within the whole app, create an instrumentation plan for the user journeys, the jobs to be done, navigation latencies, interaction latencies, and instrument the network request. And so Claude went and explored the repo for a minute and using the explore tool, and then came back with a summary. So for the jobs to be done, it identified the job, the user goal, success metric, and the failure signal. This is great. I mean, this takes a lot of planning and real application. So the fact that this is just already planned out for me is awesome. And it comes up, Claude suggested a plan by tiers. So step one is getting crash and errors recorded. And so there are some strongly typed errors in here that would get captured. And then step two would be to add user context. Now, this is actually what I'm really excited about is tier 3 here, looking at the navigation and screen latency. So this is telling us it's going to use spans for tracking how long it takes for a certain screen to load, from maybe like a list screen to a detail screen if you tapped an item on the list view and it opened up the detail view. And what's also great is we can actually add our own custom context to these spans for UI screen load span operation. So I assume this is like an OTel compatible name for the span. Oh, this is pretty cool. So now Claude's even suggesting, we could create a view modifier here for automatically instrumenting these navigation latencies. And so for the transitions here it is. So going from a list view to a detail view, the time it takes for the detail screen to appear, for the meeting screen to appear, the history screen, add screen, edit screen, which is great. Interaction latencies, this is another thing I'm really passionate about, is how long does the pull refresh take, saving a scrum, editing a scrum, starting a meeting. And it's pretty nice because we have success criteria and attributes that we would add here. And Claude is then showing how we would instrument this. User journeys. So these are flows and funnels in our app that we want to monitor and look at churn and drop off and success rates for these features or adoption of these features. So for the first one, we have actually creating their first scrum, and we want to look at, for users who are creating their first scrum, where's the drop off, what's the conversion rate for that. For running a meeting, the intent is, I want to run my daily stand-up meetings and look at the completion rate and the abandon rate for that. And then the service operation instrumentation, another thing I'm excited for. So anything that's not user-facing or system observability was included here. So we have plans for request permission, start recording, the stream processing. I wonder if this is using spans as the devices streaming the audio and looking at the performance for that, and the stop recording. The audio service is for playing an audio file, and so we're looking at cache size, which is great. The latency, time from call to audible playback. This is This is just great. For this project, there are no network requests, but it does say if you did add networking later, you could use Sentry's automatic HTTP instrumentation. But maybe I don't want to use Swizzling, so we could use our own manual spans. And then it does show how we would do that. We have a breadcrumb strategy, and Claude created a roadmap on how it would start and implement all of this. And last but not least, a sampling strategy. For our debug apps, we're going to sample at 100%, send everything in staging. And then for production, our baseline sample rate for traces are 20%, and the performance profiling is 10%. But what's really cool is Sentry provides this trace sampler callback where we could check and see if the context contains an error or journey in it, and we can then retain those with different sample rates. So this is just a quick demo of the mobile observability plugin in a real application, instrumenting crash reporting, user contacts, navigation latencies, interaction latencies, performance profiling, network requests, breadcrumbs, etc., capturing errors. Claude went in and audited and created an instrumentation plan. And if you worked for a large-scale application with thousands of modules, you don't have to do the entire application. There's an argument to pass a specific file path or module that you want Claude to audit or create a plan for. And Claude should also be able to automatically invoke this plugin and the skills when it picks up user intent and different patterns and tasks. So if Claude saw that you were adding a new network request, it should automatically invoke this plugin and instrument your network request for you. Or if you were saving something to disk using Core Data, Swift Data, any persistence tool, Claude should automatically pick up that pattern and use the data persistence skill to figure out the best way to add spans for profiling the performance of your core data stack or your data persistence, your repository, etc. And I hope this is pretty helpful to show a real world use case of how this plugin would work, and maybe give us an idea of what kind of time it would save and best practices that it would encourage.